Yeah.
We had a pretty standard casting process by today's standards. We had a self-tape that we sent in, and then a Zoom callback with Ramel and Vicky Thomas, the casting director, and Jocelyn Barnes, the co-writer. And then after that was the chemistry read. For me, it was the chemistry read in LA with Brandon. And then I got the job. And then for Brandon, I'll speak for you.
Okay.
Similar experience. He had a similar experience, but before his chemistry read with me in LA, he had one with a different actor in New Orleans.
Right.
But pretty much the same path to the roles for both of us.
Yeah. It was pretty good chemistry in the first chemistry read. Yeah, it was pretty immediate. But then, yeah, we got to spend a lot of time together. And when we got to New Orleans, we lost our first week of filming because Ramel got COVID. And then, and then Nora. I don't know why I'm giving you details about who got COVID.
Yeah.
There was some people got COVID on set, so we had to shut down for the first week. And so Ethan and I just kind of hung out in New Orleans and went to Waffle House, hung out at the hotel together. And yeah, so then we got to develop a friendship even more so before going and starting shooting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the script in terms of like content and in terms of content and like the relationship between Elwood and Turner and the things that kind of transpire stay pretty true to Colson's words. There are some, differences in the story that are present, but for the most part they stay true to his words. Well, the differences come in the creative, choices that Ramel decides to make in the POV and in adding archival footage to the film. And it's really fascinating that though these are really, big differences and might not be how a reader would imagine the book to be adapted, I feel like those choices give both mediums a very different life, while still also really engaging the audience and impacting them once the story ends.
It's interesting. There wasn't very many initial conversations about how it was going to be shot. Which I think was for the better, because I think if he told us too much about the technical aspects going into it, we might have overthought it or overconsidered how that might change what we were going to do.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't really we weren't really like introduced to how it was going to be filmed until like the first day where we got to set. And yeah, Ethan got to wear the chest rig a couple times. But yeah, this idea of becoming the camera, and even when you're on camera, making the camera become your scene partner is it's an interesting process of how to stare down the lens and still kind of imbue it with life and not feel like you're talking to this kind of just cold machine.
Yeah, that's a good question. The main thing was love for Elwood. He was raised with it. It filled and really drove every aspect of his life, and so it starts there, and then that starts. Then you can start to get into his optimism, and I think those are the two main things that kind of the foundation for him and everything that he fights for and everything that inspires him. So those are the two, I think, things for Elwood.
Yeah, we've talked about this one line I think that resonated with me in the beginning. There's so many, But one of the first lines that stood out was when Turner said to Elwood, "I know my mother loved me, she just loved liquor more." I think that was one of the first things that, yeah, felt like I saw Turner completely in that moment. And now, in hindsight, there's so many moments where he's showing himself. But yeah, this, as you kind of expressed, this loneliness that he's been forced into his whole life and this isolation. But it wasn't not just that, but also the fact that he still had kind of this, there was still a light in there and a playfulness to him. A lot of it was for his survival and was probably a survival mechanism just to like not show that he was hurting as much. But yeah, there was something to that as well. This kind of, I mean, this resilience that he has of being able to be in this world and in this isolation for so long in his life, but also still maintain this kind of, yeah, this confidence of moving in the world, and also sometimes it's still this slight jovial aspect, even when you first meet him, of like, that he's not gonna be broken.
I think we can attribute the being able to see all the poetry and the poetic images in to the fact that he was confident and unwavering in his vision, and I think that's where you can really see that shine. For him to have a group of people to support him in bringing that vision to life, bringing that poetry to life, and also being able to imbue a group of people who are not familiar with this visual language with the confidence that they'd be able to figure it out and contribute to creating these poetic images in a meaningful way. It's I don't know. It's a beautiful feat for an incredible person. And then I don't know why I'm laughing. And then there was another word that you said, poetic. Oh, sensitivity. I think the sensitivity is just because you can attribute that to who he is as a person. He's a great man, and this is something that he really cares about, and on a level deeper than the novel The Nickelboys and being a fan of Colson, but also, you know, there's a lot of sensitivity. He showed a lot of sensitivity and a lot of care to the inspiration for the novel, the Dozier School for Boys, and wanting to give them life. And so that was, you know, that was present throughout the entire experience we were working together, and shows up in the movie in a really major way.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's kind of touching on what Ethan also mentioned, but just his ability to create this atmosphere that made everyone feel so present and so welcome. Yeah, it's just that essence you're talking about, it just bleeds into the whole film and like the whole community of everyone making the film. Yeah.